The plain stitch is smooth on one side and knotted on the other. The twisted stitch is smooth on one side and knotted on the other. In this video, we're going to learn the knotted stitch, which has knots on both sides. The reason you want to add this stitch to your arsenal is so that you can make a piece of fabric that is reversible, because it'll show knots on both sides and they will look the same. Let's get started. All right, so we have learned the plain stitch, in which there is a smooth side and a knotted side, and we have learned the twisted stitch, in which there is a smooth side and a knotted side, and now this is the knotted stitch, which has the knotted look on both sides, and it's terrific to use in places like a plain scarf instead of an infinity scarf, which is sewn together, but like a long straight scarf or a shawl or a stole or something like that, in which case when you're wearing it, people are going to see both sides of the fabric. This makes both sides of the fabric the same. So we're going to do the first cast on like we always do. We're going to do the first row in plain stitch. So the yarn goes from front to back over your thumb, and you twist the stitch as you move it from the right hand to the left hand. Remember, there is a plain stitch video to look at if you need a refresher on this. So front to back over the thumb, pull the loop off, twist it when you put it on the left hand, front to back, twist it. And remember how I said, once you get the hang of this, if you don't want to put the yarn over your thumb for every single stitch, it's totally not a big deal. It's just a way to keep yourself oriented when you're trying to remember which row goes where. So I've completed my first row of plain stitch. Note that the knot is away from me. The knot is away from my body. Now, for my next row, I'm going to work a row of what is essentially the twisted stitch. So I'm going to bring the yarn back to front over the thumb, move it across from the left to the right without twisting it. So back to front over the thumb, bring the loop over and drop it, put it onto my right hand without twisting. See, the yarn is over my thumb from back to front, pulling the loop off, moving it over without twisting. And we're going to work that way all the way across. I have 7 stitches on my arm for this demo. So you might remember for the twisted stitch, the knot is towards me. So now I have the knot is towards me, and that's what I'm after. Okay, so now I have one row where the smooth side is towards me and one row where the knotted side is towards me, but the same thing's happening on the other side. I have a knotted row and a smooth row. So now all I'm going to do for this stitch is work back and forth. So when I'm working off of my right hand onto my left hand, I'm just doing plain stitch. So the yarn goes front to back over my thumb. I'm pulling each loop off and putting it onto my left hand with a twist. So I'm going to work all the way across. And going back, when I'm going from my left hand to my right hand, I'm working the row from twisted stitch, which is the yarn goes back to front over my thumb, the loop comes off, and the yarn is not twisted. So in this case, the working yarn is always towards me. So again, you notice how now that I've got things speeding right along, I'm not necessarily getting my thumb in there every time. That's okay. You'll fall into a rhythm with arm knitting. That's one of the things that makes it go quickly. Once you have your, once your muscles know how the stitches go, you can just go back and forth very quickly. There's not, there are no style points, so you just do it however you need to do it. So now I'm going back to right to left. So I'm working in plain stitch. So I'm just going to put 2 more rows on here so you can see what it looks like. And 1 more row back. So this is where I'm mean about using your thumb as a guide. I'm sitting here in my brain going, which way do I have to go? Okay, I need the knots in the front, so I'm going to bring the yarn this way. to bring the knots to the front. It's just a little bit of muscle memory. Okay, take this off real quick so you can see. So here's one side of the piece of fabric I just made that has knots and smooth sides alternating. But if I flip it over, I will also have knots and smooth side alternating. So it just makes a reversible fabric. And again, it is much tighter than the plain stitch or the twisted stitch, so it makes the fabric a little more dense. So if you're aiming for warmth as much as decoration, then the knotted stitch is an excellent choice for you. If you need any more information, please stop by arm-knitting.com. You can get knotted stitch projects as well as all kinds of other projects in simple and stylish arm knitting from Design Originals. Thanks so much for stopping by.